Good morning. Welcome to the Four Seasons Hotel. My name is Andrew Cox. I'm one of the owners and directors of Joint Dynamics. And today we have our movement podcast. The movement podcast is live. It's in real life as we speak and as Gianni and I speak in a moment, which actually we were just discussing is part of the magic because Gianni and I are not 100% sure what's going to happen. But today we have a topic and we have a format. And the format is Gianni and I are going to go through our air quotes workout, morning movement medicine style, this would be episode 123 of Morning Movement Medicine. We're live here at the Four Seasons Hotel, but also today, drawing on Gianni's expertise as a yoga entrepreneur and founder of a place called IKIGAI, which is a yoga studio mostly, isn't it?
Yeah, yoga meditation studio.
Yeah. And all sorts of magic stuff happens over there. So we're going to dive into the world of pranayama. So we're going to go through a workout, Gianni and I together, and hopefully you will join us. And then we will go through a breathing session. Along the way, while Gianni and I are exercising, squatting, maybe doing some push-ups, we're going to have a discussion, podcast style, about pranayama and the world of yoga and maybe some yogi philosophy.
Yeah.
Whatever comes out of Gianni's mouth. And that's great because we're not really sure because it's live, so that's great. So let's come on to the mat. How are you today, mate?
Good, good. Thanks for having me.
That's great, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good.
All right. So, we're going to start on all fours. We're going to mobilise our spine, get into the hips, and then get into a bit of a workout.
Yeah, sounds good.
Sometimes, just for your benefit, I'm going to use my hands to represent what your feet are going to do. So here, my feet, let's call this neutral. My hands are in neutral. I'm going to say, step your right leg forward. I'm going to place that so you'll know that my hands are representing the feet, just to make it easier to communicate on this platform. Right, mate, let's start on the breath. Now, so just going to do that spinal wave. In yoga, you call this cats and dogs, is that correct?
Yeah, cat-cow position.
Cat-cow.
Yeah.
How did the dog get around? Do you ever call it cats and dogs?
No, I've never heard. Oh, well, I haven't heard that.
My word, okay, sorry. All right, drop down. Everybody just link to your breath now. So we're going to breathe in, get into what we call spinal extension, then breathe out, get into what we call spinal flexion. What say we do about 8 of these, which gives Gianni enough time to introduce the topic of pranayama, mate. Do you mind sharing?
Sure. Well, I think before we actually get into what pranayama is, maybe it's a good idea to see how pranayama fits in altogether to the whole practice of yoga. So, a lot of people, for example, think that yoga, first of all, is flexibility and breathing, and that's kind of the common stereotype of what it is. And while those elements are important, they are still a smaller piece to a bigger puzzle. So when you look at yoga, there's 4 main paths to yoga. You have something called karma yoga, and this is basically acts of selfless service. So if you do charity work, if you do something for somebody and you don't expect something back in return, you're practicing yoga.
Do you know I've never heard of karma yoga before?
Yeah, it's a form of
What a beautiful concept.
Yoga. There's 4 main ones. So the other three one is called Bhakti Yoga. So this is considered the path of devotion or prayer, and a lot of people, they do a lot of chanting. They connect with nature. They feel one with the universe pretty much in their own way. So this is also practicing yoga when you go out in nature, when you chant mantras, when you pray. The path of devotion is also practicing yoga.
Number 1, karma. Number 2, bhakti, of the 4 that you're going to share.
Yes.
Got you.
The third is called Jnana Yoga, and this is the path of knowledge and wisdom. So this is where you use your own life experiences, you learn about yourself, you learn about being human in your own way through trial and error and knowledge and study and analysis of being human. Right?
How do you spell Jnana?
Jnayn. Yeah, sometimes they have an A at the end, but that's silent.
Is there somehow a link to your name, like when your mother and father gave your name Gianni, or is it, because it seems Italian as well, so
it's an Italian.
Am I drawing any parallels from...
I think that was just pure coincidence,
okay.
to be honest. But yeah, so that's the third one.
I'm going to repeat that 2 more times each side.
Sure, sounds good. Feels good actually too. Is this thoracic?
Yeah. So now we're going to actually, that time we rotated, we sort of counter-rotated with the hips. Okay. When we step our right leg forward, our hips are going to rotate to the left. Okay. And we rotated our upper body the other way, like when you run. Yeah. Now we're going to actually rotate the same way.
Okay.
as we get into, what are we, number 3?
That was the third. So
That was 3, sorry.
Bhakti,
Karma, Bhakti,
Gyan. And then the fourth one is Raj Yoga. So this is kind of the science of the actual science of yoga. And I think we discussed it a little bit.
Even lift that hand higher than the shoulder to get into that, the abdominals into the pec there.
Do you keep a posterior tilt in this position? Or does
If you can, that'd be lovely. Okay. I'm just trying not to talk too much because
no, it's good.
What you say is going to be much more interesting than what I could say at the moment.
Well, look, the last one is Raj Yoga. It's the science of yoga.
Yeah, just come back and relax for a second. Take the tension out of your neck.
And this was kind of broken down and compartmentalized by a great sage called Patanjali. So he was kind of the first to put it in writing and systemize it in a way that makes it very, very accessible and understandable for most people.
Is there a book of Patanjali or something like
many,
that?
Many books.
Many
books.
Yeah, because I've heard that.
But so this is the actual science of yoga.
And one more with arms overhead.
And within that, you have kind of a breakdown. So you have, when you think of yoga, as I said, you think of postures and breathing, and that's kind of part of it.
It's a bit of a combo.
So in the science of yoga, basically you have moral and social ethics, how you treat yourself, how you treat other people in society, and then you have the postures that you do, and the postures should not really be confused with traditional exercise. So it's a very sensitive, a very subtle movement, and holding postures in isometric holds for a long period of time. This is mainly done to stimulate the nervous system and keep the prana, which we'll get into a little bit more detail, in the body and hold it there. And then you have pranayama, which we'll dive deep into in a bit. You have control over your 5 senses, which is called pratyahara. You have concentration, the ability to focus for extended periods of time, meditation, and then eventually oneness with the universe, because yoga means union.
Yeah.
And essentially, the whole practice of yoga is aligning yourself, aligning this geometry of this system, this human complex system, with that of the universe, so that you move from compulsiveness to consciousness, you move from reactiveness to responsiveness.
Outside of looking in, sounds like almost like a manuscript for life, doesn't it?
I believe it's the closest blueprint to living a sort of a holistic, healthy lifestyle. I know you don't like that word, but like
No, the only reason I don't like that word is because marketing has got hold of holistic.
Yeah.
That's all. It's a beautiful word,
yeah.
And in that sense, I think it's worthy. But often the meritocracy of the word of holistic comes up in many contexts. I'm like, come on, man, that's not holistic. You're just using that word because it's such a great word. Right. So, hey, let's do some balance. So sure. We're going to keep the same. So we're going to go right leg, all of us, join us. And then we're going to come up, let's go here like we're running again, left elbow. And then we're going to come up, we're just going to balance. And actually, let's say, call this squeeze.
First one of the day.
There you go, mate. Good morning to you. Okay. And we're just going to alternate right, left, about 10 times.
Okay. Might need to focus on this. Hard to talk.
Will you be able to share about prana and pranayama while we're doing this?
I'll try.
Walk and chew gum. That's the name of the movement podcast. All right, come on back. So stop there, and then we'll just get stable.
Okay. And
then we'll lower ourselves down. Nice. So you mentioned those 4 practices, left leg.
Yeah. So
is to keep the prana inside of you.
Yeah. And
prana is life force, correct? Oh, nice, mate. The floor's a bit wobbly here as well.
First one on the left one.
Yeah, nice way. Prana is life force. Is that correct?
Yes. So in a way. So
in a way,
if you look at the definition of pranayama and you break it down, so prana can be defined as life force, vitality, energy, and yama pretty much means control of that life force. Right? And how do you define that life force? Basically, when you look at prana, you're looking at things at an atomic and a subatomic level. Okay, so a lot of people confuse breath with prana. Breath is one of the most powerful mediums to control that energy, transfer that energy, harness that energy. Okay, so when you're looking at a subatomic level, you're looking at atoms, electrons, vibrations.
You're doing great.
It's hard to talk into this.
I know, you're doing great. So good.
Yeah, protons, electrons, neutrons, atoms, and the space between the particles as well. So that is pretty much energy. And Nikola Tesla, great physicist, said, if you want to understand the meaning of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. One of the things you see nowadays, especially in the wellness world, is a lot of like sound modalities, sound healing therapies.
Yeah.
And that deals a lot with changing certain vibrational states within people.
Which is great. We're surrounded by a few gongs in the wellness room here at the Four Seasons, aren't we?
Yeah.
Oh, go stay there, mate, and keep going. And then come back. Left leg back. So on sound, yeah.
Yeah, so look, prana is basically, in very simple terms, energy, but it's a very subtle process. So to harness it, you also, as a human being, needs to tap into the subtle nature of your being. And that requires a little bit of care. Requires
you just took care not to chop my head off then. Thank you so much when you rotated to the left.
A little bit of like stillness, detail, sensitivity, and that's also why the yoga practice differs from exercise as well. A lot of what you see nowadays, because of commercialization, requires a strong, vigorous practice, also because people are very, very stressed, they want to sweat, which has its benefits and it's very, very good. But there is a difference in the physical yoga practice as well, which generally should be something that requires a sensitivity and a focus.
Left elbow down, right hand to the ceiling. And then there, come back. So yeah, step back. We've got one to go, and then things will become a little bit more easy. So if you're really focused, you're doing great.
It feels easier because after 2-3 reps, it feels a lot easier.
All right, last one. Left leg. Arms up. And then come through and balance. And reach for the ceiling. Right elbow down and lift your left, like we're laterally flexing the spine. Yeah, that's it. Spot on. And hold that for 3. Come back to there. And then the last position. And then come on down. And we're going to rotate the thoracic spine, and then we're going to do some squats and push-ups.
Sure. Okay.
Just for fun.
Sounds good.
So take your right arm, reach through. Sorry, so we're on prana, and then
so
just do 5 exactly the same.
So, in terms of what is pranayama? It's basically harnessing your energy. Okay, and how to do that? The breath is one medium to do that, right? So you can do it through, you get prana from the food that you eat, the nutrition and the diet that you eat. There's different types of food. In the yoga tradition, they look at food through as forms of quality. So purified food that leaves you feeling light and energized, food that gives you a little bit of hyperactivity, restlessness, and also food that makes you dull, tired, and lazy. So that's kind of how they classify food in simple terms. So food gives you prana and takes away prana, sleep, restfulness, breathing, movement and exercise, and then meditation and positive thinking as well. These are kind of some few principles. And there are others as well, but those are kind of the foundation and the basic ones.
This movement podcast should go for about 7 hours.
It can
to even get an insight into the...
It is a vast topic.
Just on a side note, you went to India. Where did you study? I know you've studied many places, but the time when you went to India, the organisation and the place?
So it was the Shivananda ashram.
Yeah.
It's like 8 hours north of Rishikesh by drive.
Beautiful area.
Beautiful, very nice. You've also been...
Yeah, mate, before I had children, my wife and I did a 10-day,
Okay.
they called it intensive, I don't know, a 10-day intensive yoga meditation retreat. It was beautiful. It was so beautiful, just up in the mountains in Rishikesh.
Nice.
And the juxtaposition of life, so I was 10 days meditating and doing yoga, and then 2 weeks later I came back and I had an organised fight, like I didn't have a fight in the street, a boxing match. So I was 10 days doing yoga and meditation in Rishikesh, and then I come back and then 2 weeks later I'm in a ring with this guy. It was so awesome.
Probably prepared you for that.
Yeah, well, it prepared me for defeat is what it did.
Okay.
I was very magnanimous. Hey, let's go, let's dive in.
Sure.
What we're going to do now, everyone, and then Gianni's going to dive into the world of pranayama. We're going to do a neutral squat, which means my hands represent your feet, and guess what? What's how we do 8, lucky number here in Hong Kong. And then from the squat, we'll go down, and then we'll do 8 push-ups, neutral. So the feet of the squat will tell us what we're going to do with our hands, because the second set, we're going to go right foot forward just a little bit and do 8 squat with a reach position. Okay. And that means we're going to do 8 push-ups with our right hand forward. And then we'll go left, and then we'll go wide, and then we'll check the time, and then we'll do some breathing. All right, ready?
Sure.
So let's dive into wherever you reckon we should take off on the topic of pranayama. Move well, breathe well, be well is the name of today.
Sure. So
choose the range you want to squat and just reach hands out in front. Go at it, mate.
Okay, so kind of, so where were we exactly?
I reckon we're going to be breathing, literally going to be doing the breathing practice in 12 minutes. So wherever you want to take it from here.
Okay.
Because you can do some types of breathing to stimulate, like the science sort of, the relaxation response, as in, hey, I'm stressed. My breath is a vehicle to talk to my nervous system to say, hey, relax, you're safe, everything's okay,
yes,
Andrew. So I can use my breath in that regard.
Yeah.
Or going back to me 2 weeks after being in Rishikesh, in between the rounds, maybe I was a little bit scared, so I tried to find myself up, so I did and I just did that then, and my body goes, woo, woo,
yeah.
You know, I just got a little bit fired up, so I can use my breath in that context.
Yeah.
But in the realms of pranayama, you do the same, but it's just a different way of going
that's
at it.
actually a good way to dive a little bit deeper into that. So
yes, 8 push-ups is a great way as well. Come on, people, let's do this. I can't keep up. You're doing me fast.
Trying to finish it so I can chat properly.
All right, come on.
So
5 foot forward.
When you look
Feet parallel, just a little one, just a small
you
one.
just describe different techniques.
Yep.
Different breathing techniques, creating different states.
Bend your knees.
So when you look at prana itself in the body in the yogic science, there's five main types of pranas. Okay, and each of them are located in different areas of the body, and they're associated with different movements of prana. So, for example, you have something called apana, which is a downward movement of energy.
Let's go, height.
And that is associated with like excretion.
Oh, you can talk and do push-ups, can't we?
I'll try.
We're gonna find out. This is live, so let's see what happens.
Okay, so
Left foot just a little bit in front.
You have something called
8 squats again. Oh, not so far. Just so the heel stays in the ground.
You've got something called samana, which is a sideways movement of prana located in the abdomen area, navel area, associated with assimilation and digestion of nutrients. You have something called udana, which is the upward, prana, which is associated in the thoracic and lung area and heart area, associated with your cardiac system, respiratory system, breathing.
So sorry, your challenge is to do 8 push-ups while you keep talking.
This is the biggest challenge I've had.
That's the great thing about a movement podcast, isn't it? I haven't done the push-ups as fast before in the movement podcast, but I love it. Feet wide, you keep talking.
And then you've got udana, which is an upward movement of prana.
So we've got down, side, and up.
Down, left and right, center, and then neck upwards, which is associated with your sensory organs.
Squat and reach.
All 5 senses. And then you have one more called vyana, which is around the whole body, and it controls all the other 4 pranas. And that basically is related to your nervous system, endocrine system, circulatory system.
Nice.
So the yogic science basically maps out what you call energy channels in the entire body, which is called nadis.
Yeah.
And essentially what that is it's basically a map of all the human biological systems of the body. So nervous system, endocrine system, respiratory system, circulatory system, digestive system, everything, taking into account lymph nodes, arteries, veins.
And where do the chakras come involved? Are they the next level on top, or are they related?
So
let's do 8 wide push-ups.
The nadis are mapped out as energy channels throughout the entire body.
Yeah.
And the chakras are the junction points of 7 nadis in and around the body. Because some nadis are just around and not located physically in the body as part of your electromagnetic field.
So that means, does it, a chakra is a coming together of a lot of energies? Did you say 7 at each chakra? There's 7 coming, 7 nadis.
So there's
7 chakras.
There's 72,000 nadis in the body.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah, so
Hands wide for 8
and the junction points of where they meet are the chakras, which are located along the spinal region, roughly. So it's kind of like a chiropractor, right?
Yeah.
You crack a certain part of your body,
yeah,
and then it's associated, let's say, with another limb lower down or up or by the neck or something like that. So it's not too different to that, but it's dealt with the energy field of the body as opposed to just specifically the nervous system.
So feet wide, right foot forward. Right foot jump. Yeah, that's it. And then we just do 8. Just watch that left ankle for the first one. So go nice and slow. Go on.
So, yeah, so that's kind of a map of everything.
It's hard because you get a flow. Well, here's what happens in the movement. You get a flow and then all of a sudden I've got to go down, I've got to maintain, I've got to walk and chew gum, do 2 things at once.
I like a good challenge anyways.
Yeah, you're doing great. Onward.
Right, so you have the nadis that are a map of the human biological systems, and that is through which prana flows. Okay, so we kind of know, basically, in summary, we kind of know where pranayama fits into the grand scheme of things with yoga. We kind of know a little bit what prana is and pranayama is. We kind of know now how the human energy system moves prana and also controls prana. There's 3 main energy channel highways in the body called Ida, Pingala, and Sushumna. So what this means is they're associated with masculine and feminine energy. Ida is associated with like the feminine, the moon energy. And these are basically, on second.
3 to go, mate. We're nearly there as far as the push-ups are concerned. 2 sets to go. Right. Feet wide, left foot forward, which means our hands will be wide, left hand forward for the push-ups. Not so far back.
Back.
Yep. And go. So that was the feminine.
Yeah, so for example, if you breathe in through your left nostril, it's associated with the right hemisphere of your brain, which is associated with your activating the parasympathetic nervous system.
Let's do one more for fun.
Which can also be done through longer exhalations. That's a sign if you want to get to the rest and reset, rest and digest mode. So left nostril associated with the right hemisphere, which deals with creativity and play and flow, right? And modern science shows this with right hemisphere activation of the brain. The opposite is right nostril, activating the left hemisphere of the brain, associated with the parasympathetic nervous system, stronger inhalations. As you said, you were getting ready for a fight, you went...
Oh, sympathetic. Sorry, do you mean to say parasympathetic or do you mean sympathetic?
Parasympathetic for the left, associated with the right. Sympathetic associated with the right.
Sympathetic, got it.
And connecting to the left hemisphere of the brain. So opposite nostrils, opposite hemispheres of the brain.
Got you.
So
and one dominant parasympathetic relaxation response.
Yep.
One dominant sympathetic fight or flight response. Got you.
Correct. So sun and moon energies, and that's what hatha yoga is. It's the balancing of those 2 energies together.
Let's get a bit of sympathetic dominance with 8 push-ups while you keep talking, mate. That's the challenge. 2, 3.
So the middle channel, the main energy channel in the middle, the Sushumna channel, is when you have balance, equanimity between both.
You know what we can do for fun just to finish? We're going to do 8 single leg squats, 8 single leg squats on the right leg.
How did you single leg?
Like just stand on one leg and...
Oh, not like a pistol or anything.
No, let's not go that far. That's okay. It's good. And for you at home, just go as far as you feel safe. Go to your threshold, but as far as you feel safe.
Sure.
So let's stand on our left leg. As we squat, we're going to reach our right hand forward. And then come up and balance.
Okay.
8 of those. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of like another insight on how through breath prana can be harnessed and channeled and moved throughout the human energetic system based in the yogic science and the yogic tradition. And there are many techniques out there, many things that can be done. And you know, nowadays with breathwork specifically, you have things that are quite popularized, like the Wim Hof method, the guy who goes in cold ice baths and hikes in mountains and sub-zero
Certainly
degrees.
has generated a lot of interest with breathwork, hasn't it?
Well, it does work.
Yeah, it's incredible what he's done. That guy swam under an ice cap for 50 meters in his sluggos,
Yeah.
in his little swimmers.
Well, he himself is a yogi. If you actually do a little bit of research on YouTube, you can find out that he has learned pranayama techniques. There's a lot of overlap with what he teaches and ancient pranayama techniques as well. There are a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
You have other modern day types of breathing, like holotropic breathing, box breathing.
Holotropic is to induce a state of sort of ecstasy, is that
Yeah.
right? Similar to if I was to take an external substance.
Yeah, to be very honest, I don't know about that specifically, so I can't really say, but I've heard that, yes.
Do you want to, just to culminate,
Yeah.
do you want to try a single arm push-up?
Sure.
Why not? So there's a bit of a trick, you know, when you see people do it, you're like, wow, single arm push-up, must be amazing. The trick is, take your feet wide, turn your hand that way.
Okay.
Instead of doing 8, let's do 1.
Sure.
Let's do it. So, take our feet wide.
I might not be able to talk during that.
That's it. I'll make a loud noise probably. All right, so turn your hand in, take
Yep.
feet wide,
Okay.
and then drop your hips, and then we'll just lift our left hand. We'll just go 1 right, 1 left. Ready?
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Jeez, that's one. Well done, mate. Other side. You can do 8. It's just, I'm holding you back. Ready? Just 1 more. Oh, did you hear our spine
Right.
crack?
Did yours? Like-
Yeah, not yours and mine. They both
Wow.
did it. That was, well, a little adjustment. Good to go.
Feels really good, actually.
It did, didn't it? Was that
Yeah.
great? Let's go.
Why did that happen?
Surely over to you. Just the amount of tension going through our spine
Okay.
from that one arm. All right, run me through the
Yeah.
cushions. Hey, thank you for joining us for the movement part of this segment.
How are we with time?
We've got, didn't you say 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got 15 minutes.
Perfect. Okay.
The world can wait, mate. Let's go 15 minutes.
So look, if you're at home, feel free to grab a block or a cushion and just sit comfortably. I mean, I generally like to elevate my hips just a little bit because it'll allow me to stack my head over my shoulders, over my hips a lot easier. Before we get into trying a few pranayama techniques, I'll just explain a little bit about what some of the common ones are, and then we can just get into a little bit of breathing, and I'll work us through that.
And so just in a succinct period to summarise that stop-start conversation we've had over the last 40 minutes.
It's been 40 minutes so far.
It has just about been 40 minutes.
Oh wow, that was super fast.
Yeah, it's fun though, isn't
Okay.
it? If you were to summarise, so yoga, there's 4 types of yoga.
Mm-hmm.
Within that, it's you said it was beautiful, a manuscript for life. It's the closest thing that you've experienced, and it seems pretty holistic, which is a great use of that word, and it seems worthy. Within that, there's certain practices that you bring into your day. Part of that is the asanas, which most people know as yoga.
Mm-hmm.
But also there's a breath practice, but then also there's give back, connection to nature, all these great things that science, like when you said the yogic science, I thought that was beautiful because yogis were sitting in caves for 5,000 years, haven't they? Studying the body, trial and error, which is the nature of science. And then what's happened since empirical science has come along, they've come along and gone, oh yeah, they were right, haven't they? Which is just beautiful.
Yeah, it's good to see. It's good to see something that is like tried and tested in modern day science correlate with ancient traditions. It's a nice overlap because it kind of verifies it not only for myself, but I'm sure for other people as well.
All the yogis in those caves like, oh, I knew that.
Yeah.
It's brilliant, but it is nice for sometimes that analytical part of
Yeah,
my brain.
yeah.
It is nice to get that other layer.
Yeah. So I think pranayama is a smaller part to a bigger puzzle. It's one of the ways to harness the energy around you, so you align the geometry of yourself with that of the universe. You could talk about it as flow states. You could talk about it as the quieting mind, clarity of mind, more consciousness, whatever definition you want to use. And I think before we get into the exercises, there's a few main pranayama techniques that people should be aware of. You have something called Ujjayi breath, which is basically breathing deeply through the back of the throat, which generates a little bit of heat in the body. You have what we will be doing today called Bhastrika Pranayama, which is a balancing pranayama, so it gives you a little bit of energy for the day and brings you back to a neutral state. So if you're feeling really, really high and maybe overexcited, it brings you back to neutral. If you're feeling down and dull, it'll bring you back up to a neutral state. You have something called, that was Kapalbhati. You have something called Bhastrika, which is the opposite, and it just gives you a big wave of energy. Brahmari, humming bee pranayama, a cooling pranayama called Shiltala pranayama. There are many out there.
Drawing onto your medicine cabinet, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what is what I need today, but the great thing is it's just accessible
through
this thing at the front of our face.
And this, if need be.
Yeah, and the mouth, of course. Yeah.
So I think we'll get straight into it. So
do you know what? Sorry, I just want to. There's these salt lamps for the negative ions. Let's bring them in close to our nose.
Sure.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just going to enhance this. Look at that. All the negative ions. I want to lick that, but I won't. But I'm going to. Oh, it's so good. All right.
Okay. So just a little disclaimer. Don't push too hard, especially if it's your first time. Take it easy. You can always back off and stop at any point. All right. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a forceful exhalation and a passive inhalation. So what it looks like is this, pretty much.
And we always do 10?
So we're going to do it for a duration of time.
Okay.
People at home can stay with our pace. They can go at their own pace if they want to. I will tell you when to start. I'll tell you when to stop. What I suggest is if you feel a little bit lightheaded, just stop and slow down. You don't have to breathe so deeply. Do not release the whole breath and have a nice rhythm. So what I mean is do not run out of breath like this.
And change my posture. I just stay centered.
I will instruct postures. I will instruct all that stuff, and we're gonna have a few breath holds. So after we do this, I'm gonna ask you to release the breath, hold it out on an exhale for a certain period of time, and I will also ask you to hold it on inhale. So I might ask you to breathe halfway up, so you breathe mainly into the lower part of the body, the belly, and then hold that there for a few seconds, and then take a second inhale and breathe into the chest cavity up to the neck as well. So just try to pay attention to whatever I'm saying as much as possible. Don't overthink the whole thing. If you can't follow it to a T, okay? And then we'll see how we feel. Sounds good?
Sounds good.
Okay, so you could
coming home, isn't it?
So sit in any comfortable seated posture. Andrew's on his shins. I'm in a cross-legged position. You can just gently stack your head over your shoulders, over your hips. Palms can be facing down or upwards, and then I would suggest gently closing the eyes. And take a deep inhalation. Breathe into the belly, into the lower back, into the chest, into the upper back. Only through the nostrils the entire time. Take a nice exhalation. Allow the belly to draw inwards towards the spine. Again, inhale. And exhale out. One more time, take a nice inhalation. Exhale out. So we're going to take a nice inhalation here, and we're going to begin our pranayama practice. So take a nice inhalation, breathe into the center of the chest. And you can stay with myself, follow our pace, and we start and stop when I say so. So hold the exhale out, belly drawn inwards towards the spine. Now shift your weight forward, lean forward, head towards the floor. Take a nice inhalation, breathe into the belly. Hold it there for 3, 2, 1, breathe in again, up to the neck. Sit back up tall, stick your chest out, squeeze the shoulder blades together, arch your lower back, tuck your chin slightly downwards. Hold the breath here. If you want to squeeze your pelvic floor and pull the belly inwards, even though you're holding the breath outwards, feel free. Hold this here. Exhale here. Relax the shoulders, relax your jaw. Take an inhalation again. Breathe into the belly. For 3, 2, 1. Breathe into the center of the chest again. For 3, 2, 1. Exhale everything out. Belly draws inwards towards the spine. Relax. Take a nice inhalation again. Breathe into the belly. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Breathe in again to the neck. And hold the breath here. We'll be holding for about 30 to 45 seconds. Stick the chest forward, squeeze the shoulder blades together, arch the lower back slightly, and then you can just tuck the chin slightly downwards as well. You can pull the pelvic floor upwards if you feel like it as well. Just keep that breath retention, keep that breath hold going until I say to release it. Exhale, release the breath. Relax your shoulders. It's natural to have a little bit of dryness in the throat, it's okay. Just breathe normally here. No need to change your breath, no need to slow your breath down. Just try to observe your breath. And try to be sensitive with this. So what I mean is, try to feel the cool air in through the nostrils, back down the throat, into the lungs, and then back up and out again. So cool air in through the nostrils, warm air out through the nostrils. Check in with your body, scan your whole body, make sure the shoulders are relaxed, make sure the jaw is relaxed. Now, while observing your breath, try to find the space between the inhalation and the exhalation of your breath. Between your inhalation and exhalation, there's a subtle little space there. Keep your attention there. Try to keep the eyelids and the eyebrows relaxed as well. Gently lower the head down towards the floor. You can open your eyes with a few blinks. And gently raise the head back up. So,
I'm a luminous, I just saw in that. Do you know, a few observations from me.
Yeah.
What was the first one with the, excuse me, the percussive breath?
It's called Kapalabhati.
That was really hard for me. Man,
Okay.
and you just kept going. I was like, wow, this guy's... so I was with you for maybe the first, I'm not sure your experience at home. I was with you for maybe the first, I don't know, 30 seconds, and I thought I was going to stop soon. But then what I noticed when I started to push it, started to come up into my neck. So I just, based on what you were saying before, I just stopped, and then...
I think it's really you actually identified something that's very, very good, is not pushing past what your body allows for this time being. And I think that's really important. A lot of people try to do too much too soon. They want to show off, they want to keep up with the teacher, but that can be counterproductive. So I use an experienced, you know, coach and a trainer and a PT and a physio. Like, you know your body and you know your limits, and I think that's a very, very important part of anything that you do, physically, emotionally, mentally, etc.
It's a process, isn't it? With practice you get better.
Yeah.
And then the other part was just silence, isn't it? Like we were saying, there's magic in doing this live, because we weren't really sure what was going to come out, which is magic.
Yeah.
But then also when you just shut your eyes and shut your mouth and just be silent for a moment. There's dead set, there's magic in there, isn't there, when you venture into that little place?
Yeah, I think so. Well, meditation is the deepest form of relaxation. So what we're doing with pranayama, what we're doing with movement, what we're doing with all the other tools that we kind of described, is they're techniques and tools to remove obstacles towards meditation. So we just remove whatever's in the way, and then your natural state is this calmness, this peace, this clarity.
And as we were discussing the other day at Joint Dynamics, you can use this before engaging in an activity that requires you to be in that type of mindset. You were saying the military now uses breath work, or whatever you want to call it, breath work or meditation or mindfulness, but certain types of breathing to bring them into a certain type of state, which will influence the outcome, or there's a chance it will.
Exactly, that's spot on.
Which is just brilliant, isn't it? And it's just there, and it's free. In this world we live in of commercialization, this thing is free. It's great to have someone to coach you and teach you how to do it, and it's accessible to you 24/7.
Yeah, definitely. I also think that these are tools, right? So it's not like the one solution that's going to fix all your problems. As I said, they'll move stuff out of the way. They'll give you a path. They'll give you clarity, but you still have to, you know, take away that whatever you're looking for outside of a practice room, outside of a gym, outside of a studio, and apply it in your own life. That's kind of where the real work happens.
And maybe in the hierarchy of importance, breath is pretty high, isn't it? And often we take it for granted. So we do it, I don't know, 20 to 25,000 times a day. It'd be nice to bring awareness, even in the world we live in, combining the use of technology. Set yourself a reminder for, instead of having a nutritious snack, we can also have a breathing snack, can't we? Set yourself a little reminder, and even if that is just to make sure that we breathe through our nose, because as far as over on this side, long-term health and wellness, regardless of the way that our mindset is at the moment, is reliant upon nasal breathing. The benefits of nasal breathing.
Yeah, definitely.
Even if it's just when you sleep, you know, that little bit of tape on your mouth. There's so many benefits.
It does make a big difference. And people who I know who practice pranayama or breath work regularly, generally, especially when they do a morning practice, the rest of their day seems a lot more effortless. They don't have to try so hard.
Man, I can attest to that. I love it when I have a breathing practice. All right, hey, and the great thing, if someone from Four Seasons wants to engage with you, they can, can't they, Tanya? Because and me as well, Joint Dynamics as well.
I mean, thanks to you and the Joint Dynamic team for inviting me on your morning movement medicine. Had a good time, learned how to do a one-arm push-up.
That was awesome, and we also did you guys, I'm not sure if you heard the adjustment go through our spine both times. That was brilliant.
We'll check the audio and see if that kind of came through. Thanks to Four Seasons as well for having us. We really appreciate it.
That's great. And the salt lamps in this room were the next level. So, and thank you guys for hanging out with us here. I'm going to come into the light so you can actually see my face. Thanks for hanging out with us here at Four Seasons for the Movement Podcast. I believe we're going to try and do this again in about 2 weeks, see how we go. Until then, practice some breath, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks, Gianni. See you soon, mate.